What is happening, everyone? It is Bitter Online, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you 5 tips and tricks on how you can climb to a higher rank in the new Valorant Ranked Mode. This particularly includes not getting hard stuck in bronze, iron and silver, and I can guarantee that if you follow these steps you will definitely place in a higher rank. I recommend watching this video before even participating in one of your 10 ranked matches. A little bit about myself: I have plenty of rank game experience, Counter-Strike, Apex Legends, League of Legends, just to name a few, so I think I'm very much qualified to give you some of this advice. And if you do find the advice useful, consider hitting subscribe. I've uploaded twice a day for almost 2 years, so if you could help me reach my 10,000 subscriber milestone, it would just be amazing. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into this video. So this video will be covering overview strategies, not specifics. I'll be doing an iron, bronze, silver, gold and plat series after this video. This is what you must know as your fundamentals. So coming in at number 1, the number 1 fundamental you need to work on is working on a specific agent. Now, when I say learn a specific agent, what I am saying is you need to have that one agent that you go to that you know all the abilities. And believe me, if you think that you know, for example, Sage's abilities, you don't know all the ways you can utilize them. Learn, learn, learn. There's a couple of really good videos that I recommend, and I'll put all these in the description along with some other links that I recommend you watch, and just make sure you learn every tiny specific on that one agent. Number 2 is when to play aggressive. When you have those 10 ranked games, that is all you've got. And believe me, it is much easier to place higher than to place lower and climb. Climbing in competitive FPS games is an absolute nightmare, and it will take you months to get where you want. So what you need to learn is when to play aggressive right from the get-go. Sometimes there's certain situations when you have to control your urge to get enemy kills, and this is the whole point of keeping your mindset focused. So what you want to do is learn when you should be taking the bomb, when you should be planting, when you should be pushing an objective, and when you should let them push to you. Again, this is very much match to match based scenario thinking, but just make sure you're not over aggressive in your matches. At number 3, you're going to have to prioritize vision. Now, this is something that I have followed with me through all of my ranked games. This was very relevant in League of Legends and even more relevant in Counter-Strike. Vision is your friend, but it can also be your enemy. Now, for example, if you are pushing on Heaven and you have someone A-site window, you need to have vision on them, and the perfect agent for vision is obviously people who have kits where you can utilize, for example, Sova's arrows to make sure that you can see. Now, this also brings you back into the first point, which is you need to know your agents in order to get that vision. So make sure that before you push around a corner, you have vision or you destroy your enemy's vision. A really good example of this is Brimstone's kit and Jet's kit. They both carry smokes, so make sure you either give yourself the vision or remove their vision, or even better, remove their vision and keep yours. So at point number 4 is think from your opponent's perspective. The reason why this is at number 4 and it's not any higher is because you have to think from your opponent's point of view. Now, this may sound really stupid and pretty obvious, but the amount of times where I see people just not adapting to certain scenarios, and they know that that enemy is going to be around the side of B site door, and they still push around it and don't check it. Make sure you're adapting to what your enemy is playing like, and make sure you keep an eye on their play styles. Play styles can really affect where you rank. And again, every single game should be played as if it is your placement game. You may have 10, but believe me, every single game can mean another month of climbing. At number 5, you need to know what every agent does. Now, every agent may seem like a real hassle to learn, and there's obviously other factors such as contracts that you need to unlock. However, during the beta, it is a perfect time to learn every agent and every agent abilities. Now, the reason why I say this is because when you jump into a game, the worst thing you can do is just not know what your teammates are going to do to you. For example, Phoenix has a flash. If you did not know Phoenix was about to flash, all you know is you're blinded straight away. So you need to know everyone's abilities. You need to also know what your opponent's abilities are, because you do not want to go against someone who has their ult ready, and you do not want to do anything that can jeopardize your team winning that. And this also gives me a little pointer here, and that is look at the scoreboard and know when who has their ult ready and who doesn't, and learn the points. Keep your eye on the points. So at number 6, it's going to be focusing on your macro. Macro play, in case any of you haven't had to use this before, which if you've really played any one-on-one combat game, you would have had to. But macro is it's basically your play within your play. It's knowing exactly what chess piece you need to move in order to take your opponents away. A prime example of this was on League of Legends, when enemies would be mid lane and you'd see a really weak tower bot with your minion wave pushing into the tower. You'd obviously rotate bot and take the objectives, because objectives are what win the games. Although if you wipe out all their enemies, then of course you get that round, but long term you need to get the objectives to win the game. This takes us on to number 6. Stop defaulting to grouping. Now, this is such a good example as why it can be a really bad thing in ranked mode. You are playing as a team. Yes, it is a team game, but it's your ranked games, so you need to know where you need to be. You can't always control what your teammates are going to do. A lot of people will mute the comms, which obviously is the worst idea you could ever do, but you need to be playing your own game at the same time. So just work on yourself. Focusing on not grouping is key. If they have, for example, someone like a Jet who has an ult, they can come around that corner and wipe you all out. It's really bad to be grouped together, especially with people like Brimstone. He can wipe out your whole team with his ult. So don't always group. Learn when it's good, learn when it's bad. Sometimes it is good to group and all push one objective, but the key is not getting too grouped and too much into that mindset where you have to be with them. Be comfortable going solo. So at number 7, it's going to be build a good team comp. Now, this is basically pre-game. This is before you've even got into the match. For example, this is something that I'm going to see a lot of, and we all are going to see a lot of, and that is the fact that no one is going to want to play certain champions. A prime example of this is Sage. Sage is a really good champion, and she is a stable agent that has to be on your team. You need to have a balanced team to win. It can be lost in the basically agent select before you've even got into the actual match itself. Believe me, I've seen this countless times on basically League of Legends and Apex Legends. You need to learn what makes a good comp. You need a Jet who's basically the one-man army. They go in, they take out enemies, but you also need a Brimstone who can cover with the smokes and has a really good clear out with his ultimate. And at the same time, you also need a Shadow who can possibly ult behind the enemy line and get the flank. So just really think about your team comp before going into the game. And again, this comes into my next point, which is communication is key. Communication is a massive part of ranked play, and in fact, I understand that you will encounter really toxic players whilst you are playing, but it's all about ignoring that. And if you want to rank higher, you will eventually learn that when you communicate with people who, for example, are going to be Valorant rank, they will communicate just based on games. And honestly, they have pings, they have text chat. You do not have to be in voice chat. I understand some of you don't want to use that feature, and it doesn't have to be used. Just make sure you're pinging or giving some sort of signal as to what you're seeing, what you're doing, and what is around you, because without communication, your team will collapse and you're giving the enemy a free win. So at number 10, and the final tip for all of you, is learn the meta and watch pro players. Now, obviously pro players are a funny thing in Valorant at the moment. It's a very new game. But you need to be watching people like, for example, Summit and Shroud, because their map awareness and their overall play is really tightly together, packaged as a pro player. They are really high level and they focus on the right things at the same time. So if you can watch their streams and just learn and learn, I can't stress learning enough, then you will get to those higher ranks. And I promise you, you will not be hard stuck in the lower elo of Valorant. So I hope you guys have found this video useful. It's been really fun to make this one. And again, thank you for all the support recently. I'm going to be making really like miniature guides on getting out of iron, how to not be hard stuck, just tips and tricks on how to get to specific ranks and out of certain ranks. So if you do enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up, then a notification bell, hit subscribe, comment what is your favorite, and also look in the description. I'm going to link some useful tools for you guys to learn. But for now, it has been Bitter Online. Stay safe, everyone, and peace.